Good afternoon, everybody. Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. I don't know what time in the afternoon. It's probably 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been wheeling and dealing all day. Tomorrow is going to be warmer, and we're going to have days above freezing and nights below freezing. And many of you know what this is at first glance. It's a really cool device, actually. It's a thermostat controlled wood stove. Pretty cool how it works. There's a bimetallic bar in the thermostat, which is a springy metal that moves with temperature, and that's hooked up to a chain, which is hooked up to a trapdoor for the airflow. So when you dial the thermostat, the temperature, up or down, I think it needs some, okay, it's on high. Anyway, I think it needs some lubrication, but that isn't important. The cool thing is, as you dial the thermostat up and down, it opens and closes the trapdoor based on the actual temperature in the room, which is really cool. But I got it because I want the intersection, this piece, I want this here. What you have here is a brick lined wood stove lined with fire bricks already, so it's ready to roll, and a tray for scooping out the junk on the bottom, which needs some oil. And what you've got here is going to be a maple syrup boiling stove. Many of you will remember that last year I boiled maple syrup down using cement blocks and fire grates from barbecue grills, and pots and pans on top of that. Well, this year I'm working smart. I've been studying how the maple syrup, professional maple syrup evaporators are made. I don't know if that's screwed on. No, that's screwed on. And what I'm going to have to do is take off the top, and I've got metal pans, which I'll show you in a minute, and those are going to sit on here. I'm going to have to cut the inner top, the lid of the burn chamber. I'll have to cut to fit the pans, and then what you'll have is the flames will literally be burning up on the bottom of they'll be licking at the pan on the bottom. So I might rig up some kind of I'm not quite sure how, but it looks like there was supposed to be something on here originally for some odd reason, and I'm thinking about, I'll give it some thought of how I'm going to work this, but I'm going to want the pans to be sitting inserted into the burn chamber, so the bottom of the pan will be right there exposed to the flames directly, and we'll boil down that maple syrup this year better than ever. And because it's an actual wood stove designed to keep the heat in on the sides, and it's designed for long life, this will be really good. I'm going to make a real maple syrup evaporator this year, the real thing. And then the pallets that I've got out here, what I've always had planned is I'm going to build a 3x8 sugar shack using pallets and some tarps that I got for free. I'll show you those in a minute here. My trunk is stuffed full of tarp material from a lumberyard that I got for free. They actually literally saved them for me and then stuffed my trunk full for me. Well, I stuffed them in, he handed it to me, and I stuffed it in my trunk. And I've got cheap building supplies. So I'm going to make a framework for the sugar shack, 12 foot wide by 8 foot long, or deep, or whatever, however you want to say it, by 8 foot high. And simply going to just nail or screw together some pallets, and then staple the tarp onto the outside, maybe with some furring strips, and be done. That's it. Very, very simple. And the idea is to keep the rain and snow and wind and debris off of the evaporator, which is sitting here in my car seat. I've got two deep well restaurant style stainless steel pans, probably about 2.5 gallons apiece, so together I'll be able to do a 5-gallon bucket at a time of maple syrup. Now this year, I'm not going to be able to go into heavy production because it's not a one-man operation. And Melanie won't be in here in time because I'm going to tap the trees already this week. But next year, we might even expand the operation and expand the amount of evaporators I have. But for now, there is a very, very good beginning of a very good evaporator system. So, and this is usually they use the barrel stoves and the barrel stove kit, but I got that wood stove, which is even better because it's already got the fire bricks. So that's a really good deal, and it's got the control of airflow. So really good. So that's what I've been up to all day so far. Out driving around and getting materials all day long. I'll show you what else I've been doing. We're supposed to have 3 to 5 inches of snow tonight. So I went out and cut some more firewood. Because believe it or not, I burnt in 2 days this weekend. I burnt what I would have used in an entire week of normal weather. But because we had brutal winds and freezing cold minus below zero temperatures with wind chill of minus 30 degrees, I burnt everything I had. So I just restocked that. Now some of that I just hauled in and some of it was still there. I could have got through today, so I would have had an entire 3 days of firewood where I would have normally had a week of burning. So I just restocked that with some of that I just cut, and again, some of it was left over. But I just cut a couple more days. That is a lot of wood for me normally. And I just went out and split that. As soon as I got home, I hit the ground running because I had to get stuff going here. Then I decided to grab the camera later because I was already dressed and warm and insulated and had my shoes on. And the camera was upstairs in the office. So I figured get the work done now before it gets dark. And the snow is coming down as I speak. So I figured it's better to get that wood ready now and not suffer later and worry about the camera after. So hope you understand. Anyway, here I am. I want to go in and get my head on straight and collect my thoughts because I've been running all day. But I've got firewood and I've got a maple syrup evaporator ready to put together. And we're going to tap trees this week already. Early maple syrup season this year. The wind this weekend shredded these tarps. Can you see that? And moved 2x4s. Lifted 2x4s. That was covered with 2x4s in the middle, and they've all been thrown off to the side and shredded the tarps. So it was brutal wind this year, the other day. It was brutal. Lifted a lot of stuff up in the air and threw things around and made a general mess of things again. I think the chicken fencing held up this time because I did a good repair on it. By the way, people keep asking about the birds. They're fine. They're hovering around. I just fed them again, so they're happy. People keep asking about water for the birds. I have to take water from the house and give them fresh water 2 to 3 times a day, depending on how much they drink and how cold it is and how fast the stuff is freezing. But I'm feeding them extra as well. Now, people are worried about how much shelter they have. Well, there's 3 chicken houses. There's a chicken house, there's a chicken house, and there's a chicken house. So they're not suffering for space, and as you can see, they're going in and out of it right now. One just came out of there. Anyway, they're using it, and I think they're laying eggs. I haven't checked in a couple days, to be honest, because it's been so cold, and if I don't get out there right away, the eggs will burst. They'll freeze and burst. There's a hen coming out one right now. So yes, they are using the shelters. They're going in and out, and the roosters are active. They are not hindered by the cold. They are doing what roosters do. Anyway, I probably am getting eggs, but they're probably frozen. I have been getting eggs recently, although it is cold, yes. The chickens, they're sporadic in winter, but they do lay. So, and it could be because I'm giving them extra food too, and the extra fresh warm water. There's a chicken update. They're all alive and well, and I think they're laying eggs again still. But by the time I would get out to them, they'd be frozen every time. I'll go check. And Little Big Mouth is alive and well. Alright, well, I'm going to go warm up because I've been out running the roads all day with my neighbor. and making some deals to get my maple stuff ready so I can put together my evaporator this year, or this week. Baby cat, how's the baby doing? Well, that doesn't help. I've got no solar panel. I don't think there's any point in sweeping them off at this moment because it's snowing and it's going to start to snow pretty heavily. I'll sweep them, but there's no... I don't think it matters right now. Anyway. Yeah. Not really going to be any power today. It's dark. Morning, everybody. Sort of pretty today. The ice on the chicken coop wires, I don't know if that shows up on camera. It makes it sort of pretty though. What's not pretty is the ice on my solar panels. And I'm gonna have to get my gloves. Anyway, I'll be right back. I gotta grab my gloves. And we had about 4 inches of snow, I think, last night, but it turned to rain, and now it's a sloppy mess. And I need the power. And there's not going to be any power under that. Be back in a minute. This is going to be mostly working by hand, because I don't want to wreck the panels. I don't know if this broom is going to help. Yeah, a little. Fortunately, it's going to be warmer today. It's already melting nicely. So, it snowed heavily, and then it turned into rain. And it's going to rain hard all day. They say quite hard at times. One advantage you have the panels on the ground anyway. So I'll get at least some power today. It won't be much. Won't be much at all. With this rain and clouds. Yeah, this is the most snow we've had yet this year in my place. I just hope it doesn't freeze anymore today. It'll be a mess if it freezes again. I don't think it's gonna. Well, all that white, that's gonna help boost my solar power production today though. It'll make up a little bit for the cloudiness. This is a typical winter job here. And the homestead, the off-grid homestead. There. They're nice and clean too. I'm going to take care of the RV panels as well and get this poor camera inside. It's getting sopping wet.